So, you think you know how to talk. Sure you do, but only in a limited way. You know a one way to talk, but there are dozens of different ways to make a sound that you never thought of. Imitate the sound of the trucks, the cars, the birds, the airplanes, every bit of sound that you heard from your environment. These sounds were not English sounds, and your mouth had to do some pretty strange things. Well, your mouth will have to do some pretty strange things now if you want it to produce an authentic foreign sound. You're going to have to set aside your normal sense and pretend like a child to make a strange noises. Start by saying a simple syllables over and over again, like da-da, tutu, woof woof, rrr, until you get it. You may have to start by standing in front of a mirror, watching your mouth as you struggle to make some new sounds. You're going to have to learn how to imitate, how to use your mouth, your throat, your entire speech mechanism in a new way. As we all take for granted that we know our alphabet and how each letter is pronounced. But the way we pronounce the letter is our way. There are many other ways as well, and you will need to learn the one that matches the language you're studying. You know how it sometimes sounds when a foreign speaks English. Even when we understand what he says, it may all sound a bit off. That's because he is using our words, but is making each sound the way he was taught to make it in his own language. In fact, there are many different ways of pronouncing a similar, familiar word. The foreign sounds, which seems close to an English one, in fact, are rarely the same. They are all slightly different, depending on the language. You've got to learn exactly how your new language makes that sound if you ever want to sound authentic. Take for example the actors. They sit down and learn how Russians or Chinese or Indian pronounce various words or sounds in English and go from there. And they also listen a lot and imitate. So, as you start learning your foreign language, remember that you're going to have to learn to be something of an actor. To really learn how to pronounce the language well, you have to put it up a little to get into the habit of using your mouth in a whole new way. This can be fun. Just let yourself go and pretend you're starring a foreigner in a movie, and you'll be on the way to getting it right. It's a little embarrassing at first, of course, but here you are, feeling like a child, learning to talk all over again, endlessly repeating a certain noise until the teacher thinks you're starting to get it right. But if you're in a class, you are among friends. You can also take your turn laughing at them. Once you get over the initial shock of the whole experience, you'll probably find yourself enjoying the process of learning. For English speakers, some languages are easier than others to learn to pronounce. Remember that few languages are inherently much easier or harder to pronounce than any other. It all depends on the language you were born with and how close the sound of that language are to the new one you're learning. For instance, for English speakers, Spanish and Italian are relatively easy to pronounce, because they don't have many sounds, sharply different from English. But French will probably be a bit harder. French is quite fussy about the way things must be pronounced and probably takes more effort to acquire. Then there are languages with a sound that are rarely found in any other language, like Arabic. It has a lot of deep guttural sounds. And then there are some African languages, such as Xhosa, spoken in South Africa, have strange clicks that sounds more like a wood blocking being struck than a human voice. And Chinese, Vietnamese and Thai have tones or musical pitch that help distinguish one word from another.